Thank you for coming, Ethan.
Wouldn't miss it. I'm sorry to hear about your loss.
It was all of our loss. It meant a lot to many.
Indeed it did. So where are all the others at?
Well, all who helped with the podcast are already here. Except for Chance. He's in the parking lot looking for a parking space.
So just you, me, and Chance?
Well, I asked if you could try to reach out to some of our viewers.
We had viewers?
Of course we had Just go to your seat. Well, I'd like to take a moment to thank everyone who made it this evening. I'm blown away by the amount of people that are here tonight.
I'm gonna miss that son of a bitch.
The LA Do podcast was something special. Something that I, as well as others, cherish very much. There's a couple people I'd like to thank. People like Ethan, who spent countless hours editing our podcast that may have only gotten 20 views. But those 20 views meant something to him. To people like Chance, who spent his time producing incredible music for our intros and outros. And if we needed anything from him, he had a beat to go for it. To Alexia, who made incredible merchandise just for us, custom made, so we had the motivation to keep on going. To Brian, who watched every single episode, even if it meant listening to countless hours of stuff he probably didn't know and didn't care about, but he supported us through and through. To the Confirmed Epic podcast, for encouraging me to help make a podcast. And to Dalton, who went on this wild adventure with me. I think most of us would agree that this podcast was gone too soon. But life goes on as we remember the LA Do podcast. I'm gonna miss you. Thank you.
That was a damn masterpiece.
Well, it's time to say our goodbyes so we can start planning for the Wrestling Podcast's funeral. Because God knows that one's holding on by a thread. Ethan, what was that?
I was hoping you would know.
I don't know what it is. It's getting closer.
What do we do?
I don't know. We're back, mother. Hello everyone and welcome back to the LA Do podcast, where we talk about everything from movies to comics to video games and everything in between. It's been a while, and not for all the reasons that we would have wanted, not like a random take a break or, take time to record, because we definitely didn't do that. But just, life happens. Wouldn't you agree? I would definitely agree. I mean, it wasn't the fact that we were coming up with more ideas. I mean, don't get me wrong. We definitely had the podcast on our mind the last 10 months. But jobs and school. And
That's what I was about to say. It kind of takes a back seat to when you have schoolwork and trying to make a living.
Exactly.
And
also
have a life other than this, even though we didn't even really get started to begin with.
Yeah, and also, I mean, we had other things that, I mean, I'm not going to say it was more of a priority than the podcast, but, I mean, we had other things we needed to
life
do.
comes first.
I mean, we had a few deaths in the last couple months. You know, we've had things in our lives come up, you know, besides school and work, just things in our personal lives that we've had to deal with.
There's graduations, there's
Absolutely.
being not sick, but like having a little stomach bug that takes you out for about a week or so. Family come in, family leave. Just all that fun stuff that you can't avoid.
Right. And I think a lot of people have also had that happen to them in the last year and a half.
I was going to say, you think back at March of 2020.
Yeah.
Which is a perfect segue.
I mean,
because
for what we're talking about, absolutely.
That's what I was about to say. This is exactly what this episode is about. Well, not life in
sadness,
the post 2020, but what we did in that time. More importantly, what games we played during the pandemic quarantine era. As you can tell by the thumbnail and the title, I didn't know which word to put. So I didn't know what YouTube allows and what it doesn't allow anymore, at least. So
yeah, I mean, with the topic we're talking about today, I mean, it's, you know, though we're not talking about the hard topic, but we are talking about things we did during the hard stuff that was going on the last year and a half, how we got through it while quarantining and whatnot, and trying to just social distance.
Yeah, and really, whether it says during quarantine or during the pandemic, you know, either way, it's like you have to work around it, because I don't know if YouTube, because this is, you know, primarily on YouTube, but I don't know if they act like it's basically saying Voldemort. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
I don't know if
I also
I don't know what gets flagged if it says the name anymore.
Well,
especially when it started, videos about the virus and just like having it in the name, were being taken down really fast in the beginning.
Well, the thing is,
even news videos. So it's like,
the thing is that, I mean, at the time it was such a big. Well, it's still big. Like, I'm not saying it's not big any longer. It's not a problem. It is. But the thing is that at the time, I think the big thing was, and I'm not backing up YouTube for it, but it was a world crisis. You know, it was just kind of like avoid it. But I disagree.
You shouldn't have avoided it.
I disagree entirely. But I'm not gonna get all into that. But
well, I will say the only thing I will say about that is that it's an example of over censorship in media. And that's the only thing I say about that. Just because, like, it's a real thing. It's happening. Even some of your bigger YouTubers and stuff like that and news channels mention it, and then you take them down. It's just like over censorship by Google and by YouTube. On that end, I voice correct. It's fine. But it's just one of those things that you can't avoid, and like I said, I don't know what they allow and what they don't allow. So we're just going to roll with it.
Right.
But like I said, this video, the topic for this episode is all about the games that we played during that time. And more specifically from about March 2020, when everything started, up to now, which would be October of 2021. So everything in between that, over a year time period. So any games that we've played, enjoyed, not enjoyed, rage quit, hated. I was going to say cried too, but that's just cringy because I don't think we've played anything that was like that. But anything like that. That's what this is about. So let's go back to February 2020, Clinton. Or no, March. what were some of the beginning games you think started that out?
Well, I remember, especially during about March of 2020, we were really getting back into Overwatch. I remember that being a very big thing.
Was it around then?
Yeah. I would say about March to about May. Was
maybe,
like Overwatch,
yeah,
like starting it back
maybe around
up
then.
and going to that. Because the thing is Overwatch for us, which it hasn't been like this in a while, mostly just because we had a lot of time to play video games. We would play it a lot, we'd stop. We'd start playing it a lot, we'd stop. It was like seasons. It was almost like we played it when like the big events happened, like the summer event.
That's what I was about to bring up.
Event,
I was about to say I feel like we mostly
it.
started playing it again around the summer 2020 event.
But I do remember playing it before that, because that was just something we all had, whether it be just me, you, Chance. At that time, we didn't even play that much with Ethan. It was actually our friend
It was right
Grace.
before he got it.
Yeah, it was. Ethan didn't even have Overwatch at the time, so it was our friend Grace who played.
That was probably more of. He probably got it April, May, something like that.
I'd say
I think it was April.
I'd say it probably was April or May, because we didn't really start hanging out in person a lot until about May. So I mean, it might have been April, but I'd say probably May. But it might have been. But I'd say that's what we were playing very first, into it.
Well, I will say, I know that we definitely did hang out around. Well, no, did we? It's kind of tying in our other podcast, the wrestling podcast. I feel like it was. Did we hang out around WrestleMania? Or was that more just 2021?
We didn't hang out with anyone around WrestleMania.
That's what I was asking, because I could not remember.
mean,
I know this is kind of a sidebar, but I just could not remember.
Not trying to go back on the topic we were talking about beforehand, but like, we had some people come over for WrestleMania.
Well, I just couldn't remember.
We didn't have anyone over. It was just us.
That's why I was asking. I just could not remember.
I just remembered that.
I know that was a sidebar. But
I wouldn't, because I just remember not really hanging out with much of anyone when we found out that WrestleMania was going to have no one. So I was just like, well, okay, so it was just going to kind of be us. But maybe we might have been playing Overwatch at that time with everyone.
Maybe, I don't
But
even
that
remember.
was a game we were definitely playing at the time.
But I'm trying to think of in between April and May other than Overwatch.
Well,
I don't think... I don't know. I definitely know what came in between June.
Right.
June was more Rocket League and... Rocket League was definitely in June. Minecraft.
Well, I'd say Rocket League kind of started in April, too, because I think we were playing... Because kind of going back to Overwatch for a second, we were playing like Rocket League, and then we were going to Overwatch just to play Lucio Ball, which is pretty much Overwatch Rocket League.
That was more May, June.
So I would say it was about April, May, June-ish, around those times.
Because May, June, in between then is the summer games.
Right.
More so than anything else, because it's like right in between those months. Like, typically, it's not every 4 years, but it's always near like where the Olympics would be.
Yeah.
Like that time period.
Yeah.
Even though the Olympics this year, oh my god, I feel like they lasted way longer than they should have.
Felt like it lasted a little bit longer.
But I digress. It just felt long. I will say, I'm trying to think. Red Dead started up had to be May to June. Red Dead Online.
Mm-hmm.
Because I feel like it was getting hot by then. So it definitely had to be May or June. And we started playing that more in between hanging out. Because I know we had got it back updated because we had stopped for so long just because Red Dead was ass online.
Oh, it was really bad
in the beginning.
And it's still not great, but it's
It's
entertaining
fun
now.
Well, it's good to play when you're just goofing around. And they added, the bounty hunting and the what else? Moonshine.
Yeah.
And then other stuff like that.
One thing I'll say is, and it's still a problem that Red Dead has today, and it's just like, you go and you do these bounty hunter, moonshiner missions, stuff like that, and you get, a couple bucks for your, troubles. $2,
I think it's
maybe,
more
$3.
No, it's not gold. Never mind. It's like 20.
But even that doesn't help you with
not
purchasing
at all.
anything. I mean, you're getting $20. you have to do like 7 missions in order to purchase a rifle or anything, just to do certain things like that.
Well, that's what I was supposed to say. That's
then,
the problem with Red Dead Online that they attempted to fix.
And something I would do, because at that point I was like, these missions, in my opinion, are kind of boring, this and that. I would go out because, this is the Wild West. What was it, 1899, I think this game? Well, I think online is 1897, I think. But I think it's before the story of the ring. But anyway, the same premise of the same time period. I just skin animals and try to sell those. That's something I did in the game to try to make some type of money.
The only reason I will say something about that to you is that is probably the worst thing you can do unless you have the proper equipment.
Well,
unless you have a varmint rifle or a hunting bow, you will not get any of the good skins.
But I will say this: I enjoyed doing it though.
No, I'm not saying that.
So before being able to just get in a posse and do some moonshiner stuff, just having a good time playing instruments now. You can play instruments in the game now. It's pretty cool. But at that time, without playing with anyone, that was like the only entertaining thing I had was hunting animals.
No, I get that. I'm just saying, because even in the base game, you cannot hunt unless you have the proper stuff. Because you get, in Red Dead, when you're hunting animals, skinning animals, to sell it for a profit, they have 3 stars on the skins and stuff. 1 star being the lowest, 3 star being the best. And that's the quality. If you shoot it with a pistol, that's 1 star. Or if you shoot it in a certain way and not in a proper zone for it to be killed, it's the worst thing you can do. And the equipment, like I said, you have to have specific equipment for a certain animal, or else you lose all of that good stuff.
Right.
Especially in the main game, if you're going just trying to hunt and make some money, because it sucks. And the main problem with Red Dead when it comes to making money, everything costs so much. And that's the problem that they tried to fix. That should be a whole, maybe not for us, but a whole episode or a video of something based on the economy of Red Dead.
It's bad.
Is so bad.
It's so bad.
It's been bad for at least, when did it come out? 2019?
No,
online.
It came out, probably 2019. Yeah,
that's what I was saying.
I
know when that. Yeah, it was 2018.
November.
But yeah, I was being online because I cannot remember. It did not come out with launch. It was a little bit before it came out that the base game was out. But you have that, Overwatch, like you said, Rocket League. One game that I had looked forward to the most that year came out in July. I pre-ordered it right before everything happened. And it was Ghost of Tsushima.
Right.
Game should have won Game of the Year. I don't care what anybody says. I understand Last of Us 2 was this and that, but the story, the gameplay, the graphics, oh my god, that game was beautiful. If you're going to give it to a PS4 game for Game of the Year, it should have been Ghost of Tsushima. It should have been. Everything about that game, if you have not played it, I recommend it highly. Especially now that it has a online multiplayer where you can get with 3 other people and you can just play it. Different styles of combat and stuff like that. And in the game, it's such rich lore for the game because you go in and it's the history of, or not history, but it's you're a samurai, you try to make your own path while trying to stay on the side of the samurai, or the path of the samurai, but also having to do what is needed for your country, your island. And then, the expansion that came out this year, which I still not have played. I'm really mad at myself for that. I really want to play it, but the game is beautiful. It has Kurosawa mode, and that's based off of the legendary Japanese director who did a lot of old samurai movies. It's straight black and white. I think for the experience for the black and white Kurosawa mode, you need to have, English subtitles, but it's subbed instead of the English actors. And it puts you in that not time period, but yeah, similar time period to like the movies and stuff. But the game was beautiful, and I look forward to that so much. Because the thing is, I know you didn't play it, Clinton, but you were around me when I played it. At first, I wasn't really sure about it. I was iffy about the game because it just started off slow. It had amazing cinematic cutscenes and stuff, but I was like, this game feels like it's going to be boring, this and that. And as I get through the first of 3 acts, it's like, man, this game's really interesting. And by the time it ends, you're like, I want more.
It's like a journey.
Yeah, it was basically like how Red Dead was in the beginning. Because the campaign for Red Dead, you're really iffy about it. You're trying to get used to everything and having a new protagonist and stuff like that. And by the end of it, you're like, I don't want it to end. Especially the way it ends, you don't want to.
I will say this. I did not play the game. I did not play Red Dead Redemption 2 all the way through. I saw it all the way through.
I will say I did play it.
Whether it be watching you or anything like that. But I will say this. I remember the day it came out. Well, a couple of days after it came out is when we got it. Because for some reason, everyone was sold out of it when it first came out. When we finally got it and I played it, it was so much different than the end. And not saying that a game has to be the same all the way through, but like the very beginning, the way that the posse is, with Arthur and John and whatnot, and then at the very end, things changed all throughout the story, like completely.
Yeah.
It went from like they're just some outlaws doing their thing to like everything fell apart. And I mean, that's not even having a spoiler to it. It's been out for a while, but without even a spoiler to it, like
it's been out for 3 damn years almost.
But the thing is I mean, it changes. Things happen. People pass in the game. I mean, it's just a lot of crazy stuff. People that you cared about in the game gone, and it completely changes. Because even Red Dead 1 that came out in 2010, yeah, it had like a death or two of people that you care about, but like this thing had a lot.
Well, that's what I'm saying about Ghost of Tsushima. And yes, if you play the game, in the game, the English actors, or not even the people who have the English translation, everybody in the game says Tsushima, not Tsushima. That is my biggest pet peeve with that. And the reason I say that is not because it's like, I'm not perfect with language. I'm still young. I still mispronounce a lot of things. The problem is, if they say it in the game, and they did the research, like developing it and stuff, and had the actors say it a certain way, and every actor in the game says it a certain way, and you go and say the wrong thing, or the wrong pronunciation of it, it's like, oh, that's so irritating. Because I know you do it to piss me off. You'll say Ghost of Szechuan.
I do, because the Szechuan sauce from Rick and Morty. Well, McDonald's, but Rick and Morty, yeah.
But you just do it to piss me off because you know how irritated I get when people mispronounce it. I just do it
because it's just a word that starts with S.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, because it's like, because you know how triggered or not triggered, but how like irritated I get when somebody says Tsushima.
I'll say Tsushima, I mean, that's just, and it's just because at first a lot of people said it that way, even though it wasn't the actual way to say it. But yeah, I mean, I'm
sure I did. I don't think I pronounced it correct in the beginning before I played it. I think I just said Ghost because it's like, I don't want to try to pronounce it. I haven't heard anybody try to pronounce it properly, like no videos or anything like that. I know for a fact IGN didn't, but now after playing it and after like spending so much time with that game, it's like, stop. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But what month did Ghost come out?
July.
So we're in July now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Roughly, it came out in July, but we're roughly there, which is interesting because another game that came out in July or July, one of the two, or at least around that time, was Fall Guys.
Right.
Which everyone, I was gonna say loved.
No, I loved it.
Especially when it first came out. I know I saw it. I saw it based off of a YouTube video. A couple people were playing it, and it was on PC, so it was before it got launched everywhere. I think it was in its beta but it looked enjoyable, and then I found out it was going to be on PlayStation, so I was like, hey, we need to try to get this. It's going to be free.
Yeah, not only did it come out on PlayStation, but it was free for like the first month.
It was on,
and then after that,
part of
it's
PlayStation Plus.
It's like $20 now. But that was the cool thing, was it was free. That's cool. It was a brand new game and it was free. But I still love Fall Guys. I play it occasionally now because they've changed it a lot. But I still very much enjoy it. And I mean, if you're watching this, you're obviously looking at the thumbnail right now. That Fall Guys little jelly bean guy is my character. That is the exact one that I made. I probably have had that exact look for my character for almost over a year now.
Unfortunately,
because to me it's just adorable, and it's like I don't need to have all these different skins. I just have the one. I have one look, and I just use it.
It looks so annoying.
I love it. It's adorable.
Got a very punchable.
It's very adorable, and it's got the little chicken bottom too. It's adorable.
It's very annoying.
But that game was good, and you know what's crazy though? It honestly should. It should honestly get more popular now that Squid Game's out, because it's kind of it's like a contestant
it won't though
thing that it'd be really funny. It's not the same, but Squid Game's closer to Total Drama Island than it is Fall Guys, but Fall Guys is pretty close. I was
gonna say like Def Run.
It's close
like
to
Gmod
Def Run. Yeah. But
I know Ethan and Chance rage quit at that game so hard. They did not give it the light of day before just quitting on it.
Yeah, they quit.
Which was funny. Speaking of quitting, you go ahead first.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say, speaking of quitting, I know that we didn't start playing this during this time. It was probably about a year or two. No, it was probably a year before. But Uno was definitely something that we played, especially in 2020.
Yeah, the video game version of Uno.
Yeah, the console version of Uno. That Chance despises.
And also, while we're on the topic of like card games and all that stuff playing in video game form, Monopoly.
Yeah,
was also something that Chance despised.
That Chance despised. Just quick, we're not hating on Chance because he knows he rages at games. He rages at Overwatch.
And you know what? I think he loves us for pointing it out sometimes.
Oh no, if we had a gaming channel, which not a channel, but I wish we put out gaming content at some point, like when we figure it out, if we could ever do that. Just hearing him rage, he's not the type of person to yell or like do so. He hits his desk or his dresser, whatever is nearest to him, and if it has a can on it, you hear the can. It's the equivalent to like hearing somebody smack their mouse or smack their controller or headset.
Yeah, it's pretty funny. But
it's audible, and that's what makes it funny, because you can hear him get mad and hit it.
But I will say this, and so that he knows that we're not just picking on him. We all have our times in which we get upset.
Every gamer rages to a certain extent.
So, because I rage. I rarely rage, but I do. You more than me. And
then,
of
some
course,
games are bullshit.
I think Ethan gives up on his games before he starts to rage too hard, like when he did with Fall Guys.
Well, you definitely hear him.
Oh, absolutely, but like I said, but again,
it's more him just cursing out the game and then just saying "I'm done."
Everyone,
their Chance just has the funny rage where you hear it and you start laughing.
I will say that it's
especially in Uno,
it's enjoyable, and then when he looks back on it, I think he does chuckle. I think when he looks back on it, sometimes he does think it's funny.
When this man gets plus 12 or plus 16 in the regular Uno,
yeah,
it's hilarious. When he gets plus like 25 or 20 in Uno Flip, it is even better.
Oh, absolutely.
Just to name a few games that Chance rage quit during this time that we've already named, has been Uno, Monopoly, because those games take a while, or Monopoly takes a while. He rage quits probably in the first 30 minutes because he just gets fed up. And
it is annoying.
It was Uno, Overwatch, and Monopoly. Overwatch, I swear he quit for 2 months, almost. It had to be close.
I'd say that's fair.
Because he gets so mad.
But I will say, I that's a story I think he should tell. I think that's something
At some
that
point, yeah.
he needs to get on here and we should talk about. And just talk about some of the stuff that, that's been funny that we've went through.
I will say, when we got Ethan on, going back to Overwatch, when we got him on that, when he first did it, or when we first got him on the game, after we played the first game, we let it simmer a little bit because I think Chance quit or something, so we just like chilled out for a minute. Ethan played by himself, like just doing some stuff, and I'm like, oh god, I opened up a can of worms by trying to tell him to get this game.
Well, here's the thing. At first, I thought he wasn't gonna like it. I thought he was going to.
He didn't at first. That's the thing.
I believed he was going to play it. He was not gonna like it. He was gonna think it was dumb, and then he was gonna get off. And that did really happen at first. And
the first game it did.
And then, as time progressed, not like the first time we played, the second time we played, stuff like that. As time progressed, like you're saying, I started noticing he started to learn people's names. He started to understand who was like a healer.
Well, it's not just that, but he played like without us, just like
that's what I'm
training
saying.
And stuff.
Yeah,
he got a feel for him.
He learned, and then I was like, now he knows more about it than I do.
I was about to say, don't say me.
So I
dive into lore.
So that's my thing when I mean by, yeah, you did open something up that you probably shouldn't have, because it transformed into something else. But I wanted to actually talk about a game that I didn't expect to talk about, but I do want to mention it because it was a key point of us just kind of playing together and whatnot. And this wasn't even like an online game. This was an in-person thing. It was actually when we started the podcast back in July. Guitar Hero. We played Guitar Hero a lot.
Yeah,
we'd
Guitar
go back
Hero,
on the Xbox and play Guitar Hero a lot.
That and VR.
Oh, yeah.
VR was a good bit for us, especially. But Guitar Hero, yeah, because you played it, you got it back on your Xbox 360.
Yeah.
And it was no guitar, it was just controller.
Yeah.
Which pissed me off. I hate that so much. Because you can't properly balance yourself out.
I will say this, it was nice to get back on a game like that.
Well, yeah,
and then
still,
of course,
it pissed me
and
off.
then of course we're probably not going to talk about this, so I'll go ahead and mention it. Months later, we got Rock Band 4 on the PlayStation 4, and we actually got to use the guitars and whatnot. So we actually got the full experience.
Was that more 2020 or this year?
That was this year, but because we're probably not going to talk about Rock Band later on.
No.
Go ahead and just get the kind of theme of it out. We went from just playing and having a good time to actually going to the, guitar and whatnot, and having 2 guitars and I think a microphone at one point. So, I mean, stuff like that.
I don't think the mic worked.
I think we tried, but yeah, we got to do the whole experience, and it took a while, but we got the whole thing down, so.
Moving on, I think it was more in June of last year. My work had a cooler had went out, a freezer went out, and so I was out of work for a day. And so I was sitting here, the day before, it was a Sunday, thinking, I need to play something. I'm here by myself, everybody's doing something. I think you were out with your girlfriend, Ethan was with his girlfriend at the time. It was like a double date. I'm just like, I'm sitting here, I have time today and tomorrow, what should I play? And I looked at all my games that I had, and I was like, I never finished Assassin's Creed Origins. I had played it once and stopped. And I was like, I wonder how far I got. And I plugged it in. I was on the first mission. And I never finished the mission. I got halfway through the mission, didn't realize what I was supposed to do, and gave up. I sat down and played that game, got addicted to it, and got almost to the, I wouldn't say the end, but like the final arc. By the time this year came around, I was on the final arc of Origins. All because back in June of last year, I was like, I need to sit down and play it, because I got it for Christmas one year. I think it was 2016, I think is when it came out. Because it was around the movie, yeah, so it had to be 2016. And I'm like, man, I really, I haven't, or 2017. It was 2017. I'm like, man, I really haven't played it. Get back on it. And I got back on it, and it was better than I remembered. And then that got me back on Black Flag, and AC3 Remastered came out that year. So I was able to pick that up and, try to get back on that because I was so close to finish it on the PS3 in 2017. So 3 years later, I'm back on it on the PS4. And so that was better for me because it gave me more of, even though it was more of the same games, it gave me a broader horizon to actually try to finish. And then Syndicate, I tried again because I gave up on that game, which made me mad because it was actually fun until it froze on me a couple of times, actually, in between missions. That made me so mad. I was like, now I remember why I quit this game. Because that's, oh my god, just a little sidebar on that. Playing it, I recorded it. It took 10 minutes for it to load one time when I was starting back up. Because, when you load into an Assassin's Creed game, you load in as, the main character from the past. Whoever it may be in whatever game. In this one, it was just, I was Jacob Fry, but he was just running around in a little animated, or loading screen, where you could just walk around and run and jump. It was just that for 10 minutes. I did that for so long, I found the invisible wall. There is a barrier. I found two of them. I found both sides of it. There's an invisible barrier in the loading screen. I don't know if anybody's ever tried that, if they've been able to sit there that long. Because it was trying to update, but holy crap. That was so weird. But I'm trying to think. After that, the July, August, what came out?
Okay, so...
Or not came out, but what got popular?
Okay, so if we're in August at this point, if that's where we are in our timeline that we're doing right now, honestly, at this point, of course, I'm not, we're not talking about the Fortnites and the, Apex Legends of the world.
No, I don't care about that.
But what I mean is in popularity. Probably the most popular, most memed game of 2020 came around that time, and that is Among Us. At that time, August, September, that was the top dog. People thought that Fall Guys was going to be popular, and then that game came out, and people forgot about Fall Guys. Truthfully, that's what happened.
The messed up thing about that is that it wasn't even a new game.
No.
It came out in 2018.
Yeah. Now, of course,
it just got popular because a random streamer on Twitch.
It evolved throughout that time, though. But the Among Us we know today came out around 2020.
Well, it's weird for you saying that because it's it didn't come out, but it's the update that made it popular. I don't know if I necessarily agree because I feel like, yeah, it had updates, but I feel like it was the same base.
It was the same premise, but much
not
changed
premise,
from
but
it.
how I feel like it was the same thing as 2019. It was the 2019, but it just came into 2020, and then it had to be updated because everyone was flooding the servers. The servers are still bad. I'm just saying, well, yeah, probably in certain areas. I know it's not as popular. I'm just waiting for it to be on PS4.
I mean, it's already on
Switch,
so but imagine...
It's supposed to be later this year.
When it goes on all of the consoles and the PC and all that stuff, it's the servers.
It's going to have separate servers. No, they're going to have separate servers.
I don't know. Because
currently
they're together. But, of course, when Xbox and PlayStation gets
that's what I'm saying. I think they're going to port it to
mobile
console servers.
So, I mean...
Well, yeah. But that's what I'm saying. I feel like it's going to be console servers. Because there is no way that... I hate to say indie, but it is indie. They made the Henry Stickmin games. The same developer. They made those games. What is it? The Steal the Diamond... Infiltrate the Aircraft, all that stuff. They did that. So they weren't really indie, but those were free games for the most part. And then they had that, which didn't get any traction. So it's I don't know if they can do console. They're going to, obviously. They already did with Switch, like we said. But how is it going to work? And like
We're-
they would have to have separate servers.
We're just gonna have to see in December when it comes out.
I was going to say it is December, right?
As far as I know, it is. Yeah.
Because I know that they're having, what is it, Ratchet and Clank inspired attire
Maybe.
or gear? I think it is. Or for at least that's what they have for PlayStation. I don't think they have anything for Xbox. But
That game was insanely popular, and I would say it still is, but really, like, the popularity kind of dipped.
It's died down. Speaking of a game that died down,
I mean, it was dead by the time Christmas rolled around. I think it was
by the
pretty
Christmas
dead.
update,
I'd say it was pretty dead. But I mean,
everybody
it's
got
fun.
their fill and
It's
started
still
doing.
fun though.
Well, everybody got their content. Everybody got their videos.
Yeah.
And they started doing mods, and after that, it just kind of died. Speaking of dying, PUBG. We decided to get PUBG in September of 2020. I think because it was on sale. I think it was on sale, so we got it.
I had already had it. I got it for free.
Or maybe it was for free for me.
But
I don't remember.
I think you might have had to pay, but I'm not sure.
I have no idea.
But
I do know that we got that, and we decided to play it. And our internet was so laggy. Especially on my end. Being in a 2-story house upstairs. It was so laggy. Because the Wi-Fi just wouldn't connect. Up until December. But still, it was so bad. Like, we couldn't... That was one of the reasons that we couldn't play Red Dead that much. That's what it was. Red Dead, like, we had to stop for a little bit because we couldn't get on Red Dead because of the Wi-Fi. And that's when we figured out that the Ethernet cable was the way to go and get a Wi-Fi extender. But PUBG, it's still fun, but because it was one of the first, besides H1Z1, of the Battle Royale games, it's so rough around the edges, especially with its controls.
I think it's so perfect because of that.
Well, it's perfectly irritating because of the controls, I'll say that, on my end. And the only reason I said it is because of the sensitivity, I think. I think it's way too fluid sometimes. And that's just like, that's a user thing to where you have to go in the settings and fix that. But it was so irritating. Something else that's irritating. Was that it for August or September? I feel like it was.
I'd say that's pretty much it.
Because like leading on October, I think we all got Dead by Daylight. I feel because
I'd say that's about right. I mean, it was about October.
We had already had it, and I think Chance had it, and we convinced Ethan to get it to try to do some things. We got our younger brother to do it. Try to get Grace. I don't know if she did. Did she?
I don't know.
I know we tried so hard to get her on that, and I don't think she ever did it. But Dead by Daylight, it was around. Did Scream, the Ghostface, come out?
I'm not sure. I mean,
when we were playing it, he did.
By the time that we were playing it, he was already out.
And for some reason,
whether
it
had been new or whether it had been a little bit older, it was already out.
And I know that Pyramid Head came.
He wasn't out yet.
Executioner.
He wasn't out yet,
but he was about to.
He was about to.
Because I think that's one of the main reasons. Was like, I gotta get Pyramid Head, and I got Pyramid Head, and you guys hated me. That and Freddy Krueger, you guys hate me for that.
Yeah, I agree.
Because like Freddy Krueger was really nice to play because I feel like he was easier to play just because he had the claws. He didn't have something he had to swing. It was just the claws. And then he just trap you in the dream realm or whatever. I never got to see it because I don't think anybody else other than me has Freddy. And then, of course, the Doctor. That was fun.
You
got pissed off.
I like playing Ghostface, and then like the ones that they've made, like like the Doctor
original stuff,
or stuff like that. The Witch, I think there's one that's the Witch or something like that. There's one like kind of like
something like that. I know there's a nurse,
but I mean, though I enjoy the ones from the movies and video games like Pyramid Head from Resident Evil, and you don't. I like the ones they made.
Yeah, the original really cool characters.
I mean,
that are based off of stuff, but
what I do like is that like the Oh gosh, I don't know how to
More
really do it.
originality.
Well, I was gonna say I do like the Saw aspect of it, like when they brought the Saw stuff
Yeah.
in, but not the pig people. I guess is what you would call them. I don't know, people with pig masks on, because the thing is in the movies they didn't kill anyone. Like, now don't get me wrong, they were the ones who put like them in the traps and whatnot, but they didn't kill people.
No, it was the traps.
They would shoot you with some knockout medicine, whatever they used. I'm not sure if it did knock you out. And then they put you in a trap. Now, sometimes they use that in the game, the bear trap and whatnot. But, I mean, they're not.
But they didn't
murderers.
explicitly kill.
And also, it also takes out the aspect of the actual movie Saw. They don't consider themselves murderers. They consider themselves as people who give other people a second. I'm not saying they're not.
No,
I'm not saying they're
that's
not.
why I just cannot stand.
But I'm saying that they
Saw.
they see themselves as people who give someone an opportunity to do something right. Is it right? Absolutely not. But they don't see themselves as killers. That's why I think it's kind of odd. But now, if you were the little Jigsaw going around, and
Isn't the puppet? Can't the puppet be on the map sometimes?
I'm not sure.
I think he is.
I don't know. But
I think he randomly sits.
if that's what you were using, and you're like tripping people with like wires and stuff like that, and that I would buy. But not the people with the pig mask on. I don't know about all that.
No, it would just look like the Scary Movie version of the puppet, where it was like two people, like full-grown people, just on a
Just
tiny
walking.
little bike.
Yeah.
Because I don't think of all the killers, there's only one of them that has a small, like childlike thing. But even then, it's not the actual character itself, because the actual character is a full-sized human.
They should do a Shining DLC. Could you imagine? It'd be kind of cool.
Shining DLC.
It'd be cool.
The only problem with that is licensing.
I'm sure they could get it. Look at all the other things they've licensed.
Well, not just that, but like likeness. Because they had partnerships and stuff with like Stranger Things that ended like abruptly. You got the two killers, or not killers, the two survivors from that. You'd have to get Jack Nicholson.
Maybe he'd be up for it. I'm not saying. I mean, I'm just saying that.
Well, that's a whole legal process.
I'm saying I'm just saying the idea of it.
I know,
but
or it's like,
don't bring in.
I guess it's better. Bruce Campbell. When you add Bruce Campbell in it for Ash, that's one thing. Or like I said, the people from Stranger Things, but it's Jack Nicholson. A big actor.
What are you talking about? You downgrading Bruce Campbell?
Compare Bruce Campbell and Jack Nicholson's filmography.
I like Bruce Campbell's.
I'm not saying anything bad about Bruce Campbell. I'm just saying when you look at them as actors, people consider Jack Nicholson to be like a actor,
but they got
Bruce Campbell a B actor.
Okay,
that's what I'm saying. Just because of the movies,
I can understand that. But here's another thing.
It's not me saying that.
Let's talk about. Since it's October, let's talk about movies. Let's talk about horror movies for a second, right? Nightmare on Elm Street is like the biggest, if not second biggest, franchise for horror.
Yeah, but they didn't get Robert Englund's license.
But they got the license for it.
But that's all. But that's because of the film studio. Because Wes Craven was already dead by that point, and like I said, it's based off the 2010 reboot. So it wasn't Robert Englund.
I personally think something like that'd be cool. But
I'm not denying it. I just don't think it'll happen.
Well, you can
never
dream.
know.
You can dream. I
mean,
they
added Nemesis, so you never know. From
we'll see.
Resident Evil.
We'll see. But moving along from Dead by Daylight, at this point where it's October, so
I don't know what came out in October.
Well,
or that we played in October.
Well,
besides the regular
I think
stuff.
that was about what we played.
Junkenstein's Revenge on Overwatch is really something major we played.
We played, yeah, but I mean, it's just basic Overwatch.
Oh my god, I skipped over something. I think.
What'd you skip over?
Animal Crossing.
Oh, well, that's your deal. You talk
that's
about
what I was
that.
saying. Well, I'm not talking much about it just because I didn't really play it as much, but I got that. Had to be in like April. Yeah, it was in April. It was right after it came out, but I got a code because it didn't physically have it at GameStop. So it was a digital code. I mean, that's just a pickup. That's a pick-me-up. You know what I mean? That's for when you get bored and just, hey, I just want to like manage stuff.
Right.
And you just pick that up because you have no consequences. You get in crippling debt to Tom Nook, but that's about it. Grace understands. Other people understand.
But,
right?
I mean, I haven't played it, so I
Not
don't
the
know.
crippling debt, but like Animal
I
Crossing.
think people in general understand crippling debt.
That's what I was trying to get at. I was like, I differentiate.
I think we all as adults understand crippling debt.
As gaming adults, we know that we.
Oh,
go
I
into
mean
debt for
adults
this.
in general.
Well, I know.
But
I'm talking to our audience.
I understand now. But go ahead and go on to November, and I'm gonna stop you because I know what you're gonna talk about for November.
I don't know if I know.
But
oh,
I want to talk.
No.
I want to talk about something we
That's
didn't
fine.
play, but it's something. It's a key point.
I was going to say, what are you talking about now? I know.
It's a key point. Let's talk about the disaster that was Cyberpunk 2077. I want to take a second to talk about how the peak of just what was going on at that time in the gaming community.
I got your second right here. It was moving on. I'm joking.
No, of course not. No, I think well, it was very bad. But the thing is to just talk about it for a second. That was something that was big in the game community. It was the fact that they was so hyped, and then it was so bad. But there was good things to it, but it was unplayable at the time. There was nothing you could do about it. It's like, oh, this is a good game, but until they fix it, I can't play this good game.
There was something you could do about it. Not released an unfinished game.
Right. Well, they did. So
well, that wasn't the developers. That was the studio. It was the studio's fault.
Well, my thing
even
is,
the developers said they were pressured into trying to get it out.
But I also feel that they had so much time. They had so much time to develop it.
Well, the problem is it's such a big game.
They could have. I mean,
they didn't have enough time to iron out everything.
Here's one thing, and I'm not saying this game wasn't delayed, but let's talk about something that had a gigantic story, a gigantic map, that the designers had to put out. It got delayed, it got cut down, but it was still released at a decent time. Grand Theft Auto 4, and that's one of the best Grand Theft Auto games out, if not the best. In my opinion, it is.
But I was going to say, other people don't share that.
That map was cut down so much, but they had enough time to get the whole story in, get the, stuff like that in. They could have just cut down some of it just by a little,
But then people would have been mad about that.
Well, but you can't please everyone. But you would have pleased more if you would have put out the game fully.
That's what I'm saying. Like, it's not even cutting down, because at that point they couldn't cut it. They were pressured so much to just release it that, I don't know, it was just, like I said, it was the studio's fault.
Right.
Not the developers. It was the studio.
I just wanted to bring...
when I say developers, I mean like the people actually working on it, not like the development studio. Just the people working on it that were pressured by their higher-ups to get it out.
Right.
And like, it was so bad because they had to get, only show critics, certain things and not the full game. Because it's basically, pulling the curtain over people's eyes. Being the wizard in the Wizard of Oz, have this grand thing, but when you pull back the curtain, it's basically the No Man's Sky of 2020.
Right.
For a shit year, have a shit game.
Right. But
they're still trying though.
Yeah. But anyway,
even their stuff got delayed. Did you see that?
Yeah.
The next gen stuff got delayed, which is insane.
But just wanted to bring that up because that was a peak of what was going on in the game community. But you can continue with your November game.
Well, I'm not going to go too deep on it because I had a whole episode based on these games.
But yet, you hadn't played that game yet. The day we recorded it was the day it came out.
No. He's referring to Assassin's Creed Valhalla, which has become, in the Assassin's Creed gaming community, very decisive because people say that it is not an Assassin's Creed game. The only reason I say something different is because, at least unlike Odyssey, there's assassins in them. Or the hidden ones, technically. The only reason I like this game is because it builds off of the Origins aspect. Tweaks everything, everything's tweaked. it is a little more laggy, especially when it first came out. And I will say, I'd agree with some people, it did take a dip when it came to graphics a little bit compared to Origins. But it was still, I thought it was a solid game. Kind of a disappointing ending, but like when you have more content, especially the first DLC, and when you're somebody like me who has over 100 hours in that damn game, I think I have over like, it's probably closer to 180, 190 almost hours on that one game alone. Other people have way more on other games, but like, I've put so much effort into that game that it is insane. I've enjoyed it. It's one of my favorite, out of the 3 Assassin's Creed games that have come out since it's basically become an RPG, I enjoy that more than Origins when it comes to like the, I guess, time period. Because Origins was fun for being in Egypt, and I enjoyed the story a lot. I haven't finished it completely, but I enjoy the story a lot. But Valhalla, because it's 9th century England, because it's Vikings and stuff, I enjoy that kind of stuff. I'm a history, I was going to say expert. I'm not an expert. I'm a history major. So I love history games. I love anything about history. So, of course, that's going to appeal to me because it's Vikings. And I'm more into that mythology than I am into Egyptian mythology. When it comes to like that stuff, I'm not... Greek and Norse is the mythologies that I really think more of than Egyptian, because I feel like Egyptian is just one of those that has not been touched a lot upon, especially in like school, but also because it seems so complicated, and I could be wrong about that. But from what I remember and what I've studied, it's just really complicated, so it's like, I'm backing out of this. But I mean, yeah, that's, of the 2 games that I look forward to the most, it was Ghost and Valhalla out of 2020. I don't even think going into 2021, because I don't know, what did we play in December?
I honestly
more of
feel,
everything,
I think we just kind of played everything that we had at the time. I don't think anything really was new.
Because going into 2021, okay, well, we did get a little bit back into Star Wars Battlefront 2 in the beginning, or at the end of 2020.
Yeah, but
not much.
I didn't get into it as much as you and Chance
That's what I'm
did.
saying. It's like it wasn't as much.
But yeah, I guess that's something to mention.
I like dogfights. Sorry, I like dogfights in Star Wars Battlefront. That was just my favorite. I could care less about the ground fights. I love dogfighting. I love being an X-wing or a TIE fighter or whatever period of Star Wars it is. That's just fun. But yeah, it was just really me and Chance. But I know GTA started back up in 2021 for us, because we could finally play it because we got Ethernet cable extensions.
We were able
to
figure out the issue and to kind of use what we could to do our best to,
yeah, because Warzone
no Wi-Fi is good. Let's be real. So I mean, we just had to figure out how to fix it.
Because Warzone started up for us around that time too.
Yeah.
Because when I got Modern Warfare 2019, I don't think Warzone had came out yet, but I was playing the campaign, and that's when the Wi-Fi started acting up for us, and I couldn't play online for Call of Duty, which upset me because it's like the first Call of Duty game that I'm enjoyed since like when it came to like story, since like maybe Advanced Warfare. Because I didn't really play World War II's story as much, and I really look forward to the multiplayer, and then I just get over about a Wi-Fi and I can't even play it. Which I had a classmate, as soon as Modern Warfare dropped, because he got it for PC, as soon as it dropped, he stopped coming to class. He stopped coming to biology. And it's like, we all noticed it, because we all looked over and it's like, and we talked, it's like, is he coming back? The dude was younger than me, I think. He had to be a year younger than me. Maybe 2. It was a year. It was a year younger than me. Just gave up. He quit going to class. At least that one. I thought that was insane. But yeah, I know GTA and Red Dead started up again during that time, as well as Modern Warfare a little bit, because we didn't really play Modern Warfare as much. Or Warzone, I mean. Just because it's like, they had too much crap in it, to be honest, other than PUBG, because PUBG was pretty straightforward. And then, I know, especially Ethan has a problem with Warzone, when it comes to, like, they added zombies to the regular map, and all this and that, which Blackout did first. Blackout, that was part of the actual map, not just, like, events. You go to one portion, it was zombies, but that's another discussion. I'm trying to think. What was really after that? What really set it off for the beginning of 2021?
You know, I really think we just kind of played what we've already discussed. I don't think we did much of anything else until later on. I really don't think we...
Yeah, because... Well, we kind of glossed over Minecraft, I will say.
Well, yeah, that was a big part of...
Because the beginning of 2021, yeah, like 2020 and 2019, we played it a lot, and 2018. No, it was really just 2019, 2020. 2021 is when we got a realm, and we started our realm up. And so that was really fun, and it's always been fun to do it because it was a chance to start over in a new area in the game. And like, because it started off really slow. It just started off with me and you, and at some points just me. But then it was like getting everybody on it, anticipating the newer updates that should finish out this year. I think this was next month for Minecraft. But other than that, like you said, yeah, it was like the same games up until recently when finally we were able to get a PS5.
Yeah.
And even with that, that's not a lot of games. Because I had pre-ordered in 2020, couldn't even get the PS5, but I pre-ordered Miles Morales, Spider-Man Miles Morales. So that was the first game we were able to play besides the Astro Playroom. That was part of the PS5. And even then, there's like, besides those two, it's really just Tony Hawk, Pro Skater, Resident Evil Village. I'd say Avengers, but I haven't even played that yet. And Crash Bandicoot, which was just, a free game. So, like, other than that, it's just been more of the same.
I'd say the things that really kept us occupied,
Yeah, I was going to say occupied.
very entertained, is what we've kind of stuck to. And so...
Which is like, pretty much the core...
I'd say...
3 or 4 or 5 games?
I'd say I'd say, your PUBG, Dead by Daylight, Overwatch, Minecraft, stuff like that. I think that's the things we've kind of just stayed on to.
Yeah.
I think Fall Guys had its time. I think
it died pretty quick.
Even though, like I said, I still occasionally get on it and whatnot, but Fall Guys had its time. Among Us had its time. Stuff like that. Things just have their trends and they move on.
And other than like one-off games that I've done, like I know I got like Pokemon Shield for the Switch, or was it Sword? I think it was Shield. I can't remember, but I know it was for the Switch. I got on that for a hot minute, but other than that, it's really just been more of the same. Which in some like views it could be sad, but when that's just what's fun, and it's what everybody has, you don't really want to switch it. Unless, there's something that everybody can get. But even then, that's like... That comes down to money, and not everybody's got the time and the money to try to buy something new. The new thing that everybody's going to hop on and then forget in 2 months. Like Fall Guys.
Yeah.
Or Among Us. Among Us died really quick.
Quicker than expected.
Quicker than this channel.
Yeah.
We own the damn channel. We can make the jokes.
Absolutely.
It's not like all but 11 people are going to hear this anyway, so...
Absolutely.
But
yeah, I think that's it.
Yeah. Well, I will say one thing. Before everything shut down, I finished Jedi Fallen Order.
Right.
The first time. And then almost the second time. I didn't finish it the second time, but I finished it the first time because it took like a couple week hiatus in 2019, of December 2019. Just it was the final mission. I just never did. I never finished it. And I finally got on there. I was like, I'm going to finish it. And I was like, wait, I was at the end? That happens a lot for games with me. It's like I quit right before the end. Either just because I'm bored or just because it's like, that's how it happens. But other than that, yeah, it's like at least the core 6 games. And of course, we got games to look forward to in 2022.
Absolutely.
Maybe, well, mostly 2022. I was going to say maybe the end of 2021, but everything's coming out in 2022. God of War Ragnarok. Spider-Man 2 won't come out until 2023, at least. But, you got Gotham Knights, Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. Horizon 2 is coming out, I know. I was about to say Uncharted, but Uncharted's not coming out again. Oh, I'm sad.
We probably won't get an Uncharted 5. Well,
no, there won't.
We got our side quest DLC thing, but
the spinoff. But
yeah,
there won't be unless they reboot it, which I don't see. I have my pitch, but that's a whole nother story.
Yeah,
and then I will say there's one announcement this year that I'm going to keep my eye on, and it's a new Star Wars game. I think it's going to be Jedi Fallen Order 2. Because that's supposed to be still in development. Because even though Star Wars and EA are not going to be doing as much anymore, they're supposed to have that game. That was supposed to be, the sequel. And one game that I know for a fact, other than like God of War, that I'm looking forward to next year. That will be the last game I ended with, for me at least. Hogwarts Legacy.
Yeah.
I think that's what it's called, right? Hogwarts Legacy. Like, that looks interesting because it's supposed to be... I think it's supposed to be like an RPG-esque. So it's like, I want to see... Other than like how the mobile game for Harry Potter is, it's like... Do you actually get sorted? Do you actually, can you do this, do that? Because it's supposed to be in the 1800s. So, like, all of these things are supposed to, already exist. I'm pretty sure Dumbledore's already alive. Grindelwald would already be alive by this point, I'm pretty sure. Or maybe born, depending on what the year is. Because Dumbledore's over 100 years old by the time Harry Potter runs around. So, you could see them, all this, all that. I want to know if you could play Quidditch. That is the one thing I want to know. Like, can you play Quidditch in the game?
Not sure. I mean, they haven't.
No, that's what I'm saying. I want to know that.
I thought you were talking about me. I was like, I don't think they really have announced much about it.
Well, besides the one trailer, it didn't show much. Other than there's going to be giant spiders, which between that and Jedi Fallen Order, oh god, I don't want to deal with it again.
Yeah,
but like they didn't really show much last year, so it's like other than like I said, the first trailer showed barely anything. Besides, a few people doing magic, that was it. So I really hope you can, like, you're obviously at the school, so I wonder if you can take classes and do stuff like that. Like Bully. Be like Bully did. You actually do classes.
Yeah.
But, Harry Potter. But other than that, I think that should wrap it up for this episode. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I think the only thing we should do is really just kind of inform of, where we're taking the podcast from here.
The only thing I could say for that is attempt to put stuff out.
Well, I'll say
attempt to record.
I'll say this.
Not really a schedule.
I'd say when on a good note, every 2 weeks. On a bad note, maybe once a month right now. I would like to, actually put stuff out, but, I would like to say that it's probably not going to be as frequent as we wanted to, because initially we wanted to do once a week. I don't think that's going to be able to happen.
I don't think for any podcast that could happen, realistically.
But, I'm gonna say that, like I said, I'd say every 2 weeks to a month.
Well, I was going to add on to that. I was going to say,
podcast.
Just keep an eye out. Keep an ear out, because you never know.
Yeah, it won't be 10 months again.
Hopefully not.
I don't
want to have another eulogy.
Yeah, I don't think it's... I don't
think
think
this one actually be a real one.
I don't think it's going to happen, so... If it does, then oh well. But, I think that's about it,
Yep. Well, like I said, keep an eye out, keep an ear out. You never know what's going to happen next. You never know what pops up, because I'm honestly not gonna make a like say what's gonna be next because it could be another year and never comes out. So just keep an eye out. You never know what might pop up. But that'll be it from us. I'm Dalton.
And I'm Clinton.
You can follow us on Instagram. Just look up LA Do Podcast. You can follow me on Instagram at LA Do Brand.
You can follow me at Clinton Wells 2001. You can also follow Chance, our music engineer, who created our nice intro music, at chance.cummings.507 on Instagram. And we would also like to thank Ethan for the intro. We really appreciate that and helping out. You can follow Ethan at Thompson _ on Instagram.
And that'll do it for us. See you next time.
You have reached the voicemail box of
Clinton Wells.
Please record your message after the tone. If you are finished, hang up or press 1 for more options.
Hey man, it's me. I finally found a parking spot. I'm trying to find where you guys are at now. Oh wait, I think I see you up there. That's not you guys. I'm gonna keep on looking.